everybody, welcome back to Accidentally Fasting. My name is Katie and my Instagram handle is at I Enjoy Sneezing. If this is your first time listening, hello, hi,
How you
welcome to
doing?
our podcast.
Yeah, so I'm Alex. I'm at Langston Books on Instagram, and you can find us all together at accidentallyfasting.com. So yeah, this is an exciting episode for us. It's our first episode with a guest host.
Yeah, so if you're tired of us too, now you have a third one to be even more tired of.
All downhill from here. So real quick, the person that we are on call with is Lance Stephenson. So we recorded this a little while ago and wanted to introduce him to everybody because we're all sort of similar sense of humor and stuff like that.
Yeah, and he's just a very interesting person to talk to. I mean, he's got a lot of
sort of a jack of all trades, I think.
yes.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we don't want to get too into it because it's a very long interview. It takes up pretty much an entire hour. So we'll just go ahead and get right into it. Here we go.
So Lance Stephenson, welcome to Accidentally Fasting. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. How are you guys? Super stoked to be here.
Thanks for being on our show. We really appreciate that. So why don't you introduce yourself to people? So people that are listening, this is Lance Stephenson. He's like our best friend ever. We met him in 2009. So
Yeah,
both,
that's right.
yeah, we're both from the same, well, we're kind of from the same region in America. We're all from the Midwest, moved to the same small town in New Mexico. So we have a lot of that in common. But
It took us a minute to get together, but here we are, and it's super awesome. I've been listening to you guys'.
So this will be the 5th episode. Long time in the making. What, like fucking 12 years? What is this? 10 years in the making. So yeah, why don't you do a little bit of spiel on your stuff you got going on?
Well, I lived in New Mexico for a long time, but I moved back to Wisconsin, a little bit north of Madison, pretty much. From this area, there's a lot of places I can get to easily, I guess. I mean, Milwaukee, Chicago, Detroit. I played in Toledo a little bit ago.
So you're playing right now as Wraith Haven.
Wraith Haven. Oh yeah, that's pretty important, isn't it? The name.
The Witch House.
are you going to talk about how you came up with that name? I'd like to hear that story. Is it interesting?
It is a funny story. It took place in El Paso, actually. I was like pumping gas and I saw something said it was like a drink haven or like a refreshment haven or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. And then I was like, oh, like a safe haven. That's a nice play on words. And then just the word Wraith popped in my head. I was like, that's pretty awesome. That's how I came up with the name.
Well, that's a cool story. I thought you were going to say you knew a stripper named Wraith or some shit.
No, that would be a lot cooler. I've only known a couple of strippers and they didn't have names that cool.
That'd be like a wicked ass stripper. She'd be scary AF.
Yeah, she might hurt you.
Yeah.
You might
So what is Witch House? Like, can you go, because I think it's like kind of a pretty small movement still, right? Or is it big?
I don't know. I like members. I'm a member of all these groups, and everybody has kind of something to say about it, you know. And I mean, there's your share of like elitist people that say, "Oh, like it started here," blah blah blah. But I mean, to me, it's pretty much. To me, it's like the punk or metal of electronic music because it's super electronic. I mean, you can use guitars and there's vocals in it. Everybody does it a different way, but to me, it's just like some punk metal elements and then electronic weirdness. You can kind of put whatever you want into it, and the whole thing. It's dark, you know. It's house music, I guess, is where it started, and people's dark take on it. But then people started doing a trap version of it, and then some people do metal vocals. So it's pretty much just dark electronic music that's not necessarily industrial, because that pretty much had dark electronic music was industrial. That's the first thing people would think of, but incorporating hip hop and metal and punk, and a lot of people doing it were formerly metal musicians, or they still are, or in punk bands or whatever. So it's kind of that take on electronic music. You know, a lot of it isn't. There's a lot of distortion. It's not necessarily worried about if it's, you know, big room, quote unquote, or stuff like that is supposed to be super clean the way it's produced. But I think Witch House is like the approach to how you're doing it. It's kind of dirty and it's cool, and there are just some gems out there, and some of it isn't good, just like any type of music. But pretty much like I dig it. That's why I do it. I mean, I heard it and I was like, oh man, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of like I think because it was like 2013 or 14 through like up until you moved, we were both kind of looking for like musical shit.
Like a niche.
Yeah, like finding our direction and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, I never really thought that I would just like categorize my music as one genre, because I'm like, before it's metal, but we have like, you know, like really kind of mystic sounding parts and this and that. So there was no way to really categorize it because it didn't fit the standard metal or whatever at the time, you know. It's cool to be able to actually put myself in a category. Someone asked me what to do. I've never been able to do that before in my life, and it's because it's such a big category. Which, yeah, it's like a bonus. Like it could be a trap beat, it could be hip hop beat, or, you know, hi-hats going full speed at, you know, 160 BPM. It's kind of whatever you want to do. It's just a little dark and a little weird, and something's got to be a little off to me. Something has to sound a little bit off. You know?
So I know you talked to me about there's like a culture of Witch House, like the kind of people who attend the shows. I think one time you were telling me like what kind of fans they usually are. Do you have that description again of what these fans are? Are they like juggalos, or I mean, what are they?
I don't. I remember I think having the conversation, but I don't remember what I said. So my opinion also, like how much, you know, was I drinking? There's also things to, you know, put in there. But I don't know, like honestly, it's there is like a certain style to it. It's funny. It's like half metal and half, I keep saying metal, but because to me that's what it is. I'm all about metal. But it's still sort of, you know, gangsta in a way. It's like gangsta metal. So like new metal in a way, but mixed with just kind of a weird, like, I'll do what I want type of thing.
Yeah, just that punk mentality or whatever.
The description I gave, but now I guess to me that's what I see. It's just kind of like you look around, you're like, really? Oh, they're digging it. This person looks like they just woke up out of the ditch, or this person is straight up hippie. Like, what the heck? Like, you know, it's just like anything. You know, you go to goth night and they're like some totally dude in a button down, whatever, and you're like, I want to know that guy's story. But yeah, I don't know. There's I wish I could remember what I said.
It's not, well, it's just not, I don't remember, but it wasn't like there's not like a specific type of people, like, you know, they don't all dress like gothic or anything like that, basically. So you're saying they come from all walks of life.
Yeah, I mean, like for performers and as far as musicians and like the people doing it, there's probably one way, and like not to go off on a tangent, but that's what we're supposed to do sometimes, right? This one dude told me once, this was in Albuquerque, I was playing a show with this guy, and he was like, you know what, dude, I like to do all kinds of weird shit to my body, like, you know, he was just talking about dyeing hair and stuff. He's like, because you're up there on stage and you're doing all these things that people wish they could do. And I was like, that's a pretty good way to look at it. Like, if people will remember you, you know, you have your thing or whatever. But I'd say the performers have definitely one style versus the people that you would probably see at the shows.
So does everybody have pretty much like a similar stylistic sound? Because you said it's really broad, but the people that you've been playing with, do they all kind of sound the same?
There's definitely like that dirty, like I was talking about, like kind of a dirty like aesthetic to it or whatever. But I don't know. Again, so I guess let me think about the people I played with. So there's one act, shout out Plagues with a V instead of an A, which is cool if you know any of my history, because once upon a time I had a band with the name Plague in it. But
I did too, you know.
Yeah. No.
So if you listen to the first episode real quick, do you remember when Katie was talking about something? She was like, when I went to LA to see whatever, and I was like, well, you know, we went, and then I did like a little thing. So it's funny because we were both in Symphonic Plague.
Oh shit.
Everybody just fucking forgets that I was part of their history or whatever. I'm the forgotten guy.
The pieces are all coming together now for people.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So one of the acts he does I think what he does is he records like actual hard synths in and then kind of manipulates them and adds percussion after that. But his whole sets are super sick because it's like this one big thing that happens to you. So like he does what he does, and there's the constant, like, I don't know how to explain it, just there's this thing that's kind of going, and it's just like low, pretty almost industrial sounding type sounds, but with these like crunchy bass lines going over it, and then whatever samples and stuff he makes going over it. So it's kind of like this big long thing. But with definition between the songs, so you can tell when a song changes. So, and it's just real low and drony and cool. And then there's other people who do more like house music. You know, it sounds like they take a bunch of loops that they dig, and they kind of, as the night goes on, just like mix all those loops and sections of songs together and keep kind of a constant, you know, dance thing going, like 120 or whatever. You know, and so that's another way to do it. And, you know, then there's the people who take,
So I was going to say, have you seen anybody playing a show that's like out in the wilderness? Because it seems like with the witch theme and stuff, like, and our love for camping, like this would be a really cool, like middle of the woods type kind of thing.
Well, I mean, that's the funny thing, I guess, about Witch House is that, I mean, it's very urban. I mean, you would think that, but it's very urban. At least the American Witch House, I should say, because a lot of the stuff that you might hear from, like, I know there's a lot of stuff from Russia and Germany, and I mean there's some, but over the ocean, over the drink, their stuff seems like it's a little bit more nature based, whereas like the American stuff kind of sounds like it's urban. And me being how I am, I agree what you said with the camping. I mean, they call me the country witch because I pay my by working on a farm. So yeah, I'm the country witch from way up north. But most of the time, Milwaukee and Chicago, yeah. So, but I live north of there. But anyway, yeah, I agree. I would love to see that. I mean, something like how they would do in Albuquerque. They throw something out in the mesa, and it's like a big party in the desert. I would like to see that in the forest here, and that's part of, you know, I recently got invited to join a collective, and that's like kind of the point, is to make it a bigger happening things like that, and just
But that is an interesting point that you make, that like New Mexico, I don't know how many people in the Southwest do this. Like I know there's Burning Man and stuff and festivals like that across the Southwest, but I don't know how many how many states it's regular to go outside and play those kinds of shows. I know like there's music in the park and shit like that, but like New Mexico is the only, I mean, I've been living here for like however fucking 15 years or whatever now, but you know, like, so I'm not privy to the other shit. I'm sure Arizona does it. I know Colorado's got Red Rocks, but I don't mean that kind of thing, you know, like I wonder how common that shit is. Like,
I feel like people probably do it, you know. There's, you know, small towns or areas like maybe not in the desert songs. Nice. Can see where my brain's at. Towns are a little bit further apart and whatever. Yeah. But and go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say you could be like in Knoxville, Tennessee, or whatever, and then Jim Bob and his cronies have like their local hoedown and stuff, and he goes and plays banjo and stuff. You know,
barnyards or bar.
There's people in these small. Sorry, there's people in these small towns that just. I'm sure so much cool stuff happens, and you know, nobody will ever know about it. You know, so I feel like it does happen, but they should be bigger deals. Billy Bob's Hoedown should be badass.
Yeah.
Everybody should be
Barnyard.
all of it.
So, no, do they do barnyard hoedowns out there? Like, is it because you're still in a rural area though, right? I mean, it's urban.
Yeah.
You're near urban shit, but
They I know they do. I guess I gotta find them.
go get in a brawl, man. Go
Yeah,
fucking
go fight some guys.
Damn.
some little cowboy dudes just dancing around to the fucking Oklahoma where the wind comes rolling down the plain.
Not a damn hoedown. That ain't a hoedown.
It was fucking funny. Yeah, just imagine you fucking back your pickup truck up like our Labor Day trip every year. We got our country music blasting, but imagine doing that shit, but then having like the fucking Sound of Music blasting out of somebody's pickup in the middle of the fucking woods.
Whatever you want to do, you know what I mean? That's I would love to see that. Like some people blasting metal. If some people were sitting there blasting metal and some other truck rolls up, like, picture it with all the LED lights, all super badass, you know what I mean? And then they're just, Sound of Music, or possibly like, I don't know, what are some other musicals that happened around that time?
Rent to be like 525,600 minutes. Can you imagine?
Yeah, blasting, echoing off the trees.
It's a fucking cornhole.
The metalheads like, you know what? That is more metal than even us, like they would. I know it.
Dude, that's some creepy shit though. If I was taking my Jeep out to a campsite and I drove by another campsite and they were playing cornhole, listening to fucking 42nd Street or like Seven Wives for Six Husbands, whatever the fuck that shit is, like, and there was like the fuck, like that'd be worse than fucking opera. Like opera, I would think, okay, they're killing somebody, they're gonna put some cement shoes on this motherfucker.
Yeah.
A musical?
Some hoods. I don't know what color those hoods are, but I know they have hoods in there.
Yeah, dude. Oh, shit. I don't want to fucking happen upon that.
No.
But next time I go camping, I'm gonna take the fucking Sound of Music soundtrack with me.
Dude, if you blast that shit like you just said, picture yourself on the other side. You're like, yeah, I'm not going over there. That is creepy.
Some bears all trying to creep up on your ass. So I want a hot dog, motherfucker. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's all fucking look I am in the middle of the fucking.
That's how that fucking song goes.
Jesus. Look I am.
Johnny Sean. Wow, that'd be so cool.
I think it's a good idea.
Do you feel like where you're living right now is really open-minded then to like people doing weird shit like that? Like they let people be themselves, or do you think it's a little bit more closed-minded since you are in, a more rural area, I guess?
That's a complicated question because, I mean, I feel like sometimes I'll go around, I don't really dress too weird. At least I don't think so. But, a lot of that time, there's not many places to shop other than, old W Mart. So you pretty much just like on par with everybody else there. So it looks like when people are there, like, oh, that guy looks like he belongs in Walmart. So, but as far as open-mindedness, I mean, around here, I don't really do a whole lot. I go out, there's a like little place I like to go that's really close and walking distance, and classic things that happen. Just like in a big city, you got your gas station you go to, everybody knows you. You're like, oh, I've seen that person in here before. I think that happens to everybody, whether you're in a city or a small town. But definitely people just kind of, I don't know. I feel like the people who are here where I'm at specifically, it's kind of a tourist trap. So in the summer, the population is just, it's filled to the brim. The streets can't even handle the amount of traffic.
Did you see that happen this year or last year?
Oh, yeah, right. I mean, when I got here, it was, I can say where it is. It's Wisconsin Dells. And people in the Midwest, they'll know about it. It's like the family Las Vegas of the Midwest,
Yeah. When I was growing up visiting my uncle, he would because they lived in Rock Island, and they would always be like, this year we're going to the Dells. We're going to the Dells.
Yeah. So
we never made it, but it was the thought that counted.
Well, maybe you can in the future.
Yeah, I want to go. I want to go visit because I don't get to the Midwest. I mean, Katie and I we travel for conferences and not much happens. Maybe there'll be one in Chicago sometime soon or something. But
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's a busy town. You guys should have business there. You should push for it.
yeah,
Well, not that you have much control, but hey. Yeah, so it's a small town in the winter, but in the summer it becomes just a blossoming melting pot, I guess. But
yeah.
I mean, the nearby cities are honestly like Madison. Kind of reminds me of Albuquerque. Milwaukee totally does. I mean, it kind of sounds the same too. Milwaukee.
It does, yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. So I mean, they're about the same size, and so even though I'm in rural areas, non-rural areas are pretty close, like just within an hour drive. So go get a dose of my city life if I'm lucky.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad at all.
So, does your dad still play music? I know you had the show the other night.
Oh yeah. Well, he's supposed to. It was so everybody knows it was absolute Hoth weather here, like the second
Yeah.
star.
So just to like background, your dad is Catfish Stephenson, who's like a local legend from what I hear in the area.
Yes. He always laughs when he hears that, but it's true. But yeah. So I'm sure he knows some of the same. I haven't played in Madison too much, but yeah, definitely been kind of a staple for a while. So yeah, it's cool. He understands why I sit in my room and just work on music all the time.
Oh, that's cool. Have you been more productive up there? Like musically, I mean, not like.
I've been. I mean, over the last few days, like I pretty much had just 4 days at home where I didn't have. I went to the gas station, left, got whatever random food or whatever, beer. But just with the weather, there's just certain times that you can't work or go out or start your car. So yeah, I'd say being like sort of trapped definitely makes you more productive. And I mean. And that's just for the cold days, but also, I mean, for me being away from everything, definitely more productive because I have like zero distractions. It's pretty much, do what I have to do to pay the bills and then back, sit in my computer or pick up the guitar and come up with a melody or whatever I'm doing that night.
Speaking of guitar real quick, tell us about the creation of the Accidentally Fasting theme song.
Oh yeah, we should have introduced him that way. Fuck.
Oh yeah, well that's okay. We can do it now.
And I'll talk about it in the past or in the future. I'll do an introduction separate from this recording.
So let's see. Alex told me, "Hey, are you down to do a theme song?" I think that's how it went. Maybe it was more complicated. I'm not sure. But
no, I totally was like, yeah, can you do this for me?
Oh, okay. So all right, then I was like, yeah, sure, dude. And what do you want? I said to Alex, what do you want? And he was like, just make it sound like every commercial ever. So I totally pictured it. I don't have a ukulele, but I just played some higher chords on the guitar.
I think what I asked was like, hey, can you make it sound like one of those smiling idiots walking into the doctor's office or something like that.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. It got specific, I guess.
Well, and that's where the whistle came from, right? Because before, I don't remember. I don't know if we talked about that. I think the whistle was something that you were like, oh, there should be a whistle in this.
I think I had recorded the guitar part, or actually I got home and I was like, okay, I have to do this today. And so I picked some chords that, I mean, they're perfect. But I have to toot my own horn. But I was like, oh yeah, this is perfect. I thought it was perfect. And then I recorded it and I was listening to it. And I'm like, this needs a whistle. This is just asking for like a happy ass whistle. So I did my best to whistle and just that's it. It was fucking funny.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was, dude, the first time I heard that, I was like, oh my God, This is so fucking perfect. It's not even funny.
Yeah, it's such a nice little wholesome song. Puts a smile on my face every time I hear it.
Me too.
Yeah,
That's
that's totally what. That's what it needed to be.
I really got to my box for that.
There needs to be more songs out there like that, instead of talking about emo shit. They need to really bring back those kinds of songs. Back in my day, they used to have songs like that.
Happier, or
yeah,
do like Happy Witch House.
Wow.
Actually, I did a remix. Remember that video of those that weird animal? It was from Japan. It was like a big red animal looking thing. Or actually, I think it was it was a cat reincarnated as an apple was the character. I didn't make it up. I'm just repeating what I heard. And it plays the drums and then it goes off on like this metal part. You guys seen that?
Is that a YouTube video?
Yeah, it's on there. But so I took the audio from it and I never released it. I did it as a joke during conversation because one of the other musicians, the DJs that I was going to be playing the show with, he kept posting that video on.
Hey, you're kind of cutting out.
Am I still cutting out? Hello?
I can hear you fine.
Alex?
Oh, okay. It's just me then. It says connection.
Uh-oh. We can always edit this part out, right? I mean, you can cut it if you need to.
Yeah, I don't get why I would have a poor connection. All right, I'm going to go audio only.
Well, that's kind of weird.
Hello, sir. You see this picture of the Civil War guy?
That's you know who that is?
Who is that?
That's because my name is Civilized William. Like in video games and shit, and that's Wild Bill Hickok.
Oh, Killer Bill.
Yeah, Killer Bill. Yeah.
Way to go, Lance.
Well, you were in the middle of something real interesting, and then now I can't remember what you were saying. Shit.
It's okay. We'll just, you guys can insert. Actually, it'd be cool if you had a sound effect because we wanted to do those.
Well, no, wait, hold on. I wanted to hear that. I wanted because you were talking about the cat apple reincarnated YouTube video.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. Well, and let's go back to talking about that. So it's like, so it's like this. I guess the backstory of this thing. Who's a badass drummer? I'm surprised you didn't see it because it was all over Facebook or whatever a few weeks ago. But yeah, so it's a cat that was reincarnated as an apple, and he was playing drums for this band. So that's what the video was, and it was like this really silly kind of like children's song. Like I don't know, I don't even want to mouth what it is because it's so silly. But it was really goofy, and this apple thing is like playing a regular drum part, and then all of a sudden he just starts doing a double bass part and just starts going. It's awesome.
What?
It makes sense. So I took the audio and just chopped the little bits out of it and made this Happy Witch House song. I mean, I added low, like grindy bass to it, but it was just super happy. And the fact that it was so happy made it really creepy. But
Are you posting that song anywhere that we could link to it or something?
Maybe an online friend could release it against my will because I don't want to like any copyright problems. But I couldn't stop some if they did that.
Okay, well, I'll see if I know any pirates.
Okay.
It's like what you're saying. You could play that song at the campsite, instead of your Sound of Music, you could play that song.
Absolutely, and actually, it bumps hard, but it's so goofy. So that'd be perfect too. That'd probably scare some just regular people away, yuppies or whatever, whoever's roaming around in them woods.
Yeah,
Definitely.
roaming around in the woods. I don't think so.
Whoever the woods might bring upon. Have you guys gone camping? I know it's interviewing me, but I want to ask you guys.
Well, no, like I said. Well, so no, I was gonna do the winter trip, and so every year, pastors, what happens is I go on the winter camping trip in like pretty much the week of Christmas, and every year Lance was going with me, so this would have been the fourth or fifth year.
Yep.
And no, I was gonna go, and then my mom came in for a week, and then my buddy from Mexico came to town for a week, and they both stayed with us back to back. So, and then in January I was gonna go, and it snowed like a motherfucker, and they closed the campsite. At least the Water Canyon where we usually go.
Yeah, you can't.
So-
What they said, this first snow. I know we're bantering a little bit, but I mean, this could be educational for people who want to know about this place because it's super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, first snow, Old Water Canyon, New Mexico is closed.
Yeah. So it's kind of a pain because it's reasonably warm for that time of year, but yeah, first snow, it's done. They shut down. It's got those cool trails around it. I mean, like New Mexico's got some really. How does the wilderness in Wisconsin compare to New Mexico? Like maybe not the campsites if you haven't been camping, but like just out and about cruising around.
I didn't really go camping either. I mean, I got here in like June of 2018.
2000 this year or 2000 last year?
Dude, I don't even care anymore. But just I don't know. Moons happen, and winters and seasons happen, you know. But I don't know. There's definitely like more mosquitoes. That is like a given for sure. Like there's more hurdles to have a good time. But the thing is, you know, if you go to New Mexico, it could be 20 degrees at night, and you're gathering frost on your tent, and then in the morning, it's super cold. You get the fire started. But by noon, it might be almost 70 degrees. So there are all these different camping in different places has different hurdles to get over.
Yeah, that's kind of what.
If you just toughen it out and you want to just be a tough guy, then go for it. But if you want a comfortable time and camp as hard as you can, like we've talked about in the past, drinking beer, eating food, having a good time, you got to pass those hurdles. To me, that's what it's about. Have a good time.
Yeah. So, and that is, we are blessed with a lack of insects and most of the time warm weather, even if it is like, because I think the first year we went, it was like 9 degrees at night or something like that, and then during the day it was like 60.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You're like you're wearing all of your winter gear and long johns and blankets and everything else, and then here comes noon and you're like, ouch, I'm hot, like this, I'm sweating. It hurts.
Yeah, it goes from like all of your bottled water being frozen to being able to cook a fucking egg on a rock.
Yep.
In like 3 hours or whatever.
I guess that's the difference. There are different hurdles to camping in different areas, and I love camping. It's desert or forest, winter, doesn't matter. If somebody else is down, I'm down too. I don't really go by myself because I don't know. That just seems like a bad idea. But
yeah, I know too. There was a guy that I have a friend who lives in Rio Rancho, which is like for the fasters out there. That's northwest Albuquerque, sort of. So, but anyway, his daughters went to school with this guy, or his daughters went to school with these two other kids. And their dad was like this ex-Marine who's like super hardcore, goes out and hikes a bunch. And he went missing in Colorado. Like he went on some trip all alone and just like disappeared.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I don't want to disappear. So for me, I want to be with a friend, That's always hard. At least, if at least they'd be a suspect. You know what I mean? Like sorry, bro.
I don't want like out here. I don't want a fucking 127 hours situation where I'm fucking James Franco or whatever, and my arm's pinned against a wall or whatever.
Yeah, rocks fall, things happen. I mean, there's floods like randomly. Like there was, like we're reminiscing a little bit, but there was the hail time in I guess western New Mexico, you could say.
Mid-July or some shit, right? And I had my Jeep with like barely a top on it, and it's fucking hailing us out. Like that was fucking nuts.
Yeah, dude. So, hypothermia.
Yeah, so we should tell that story. So from me and Katie's perspective, we were camping outside of this town with Lance, and her parents live in the town. And so we went to go see them, and it was like 7 p.m. or something when we were there, and there's like this massive boom of lightning. And I was like, oh shit, we got to get back to the campsite, babe. Let's get the fuck out of here. This sky is super dark. The storm beat us to the campsite, and we were in our Jeep, like I said, with like barely any top, and it's fucking hailing, like crazy fucking hail. mid-July New Mexico. So
It was a
we get back.
microburst.
And then Lance is hiding in his truck.
Yeah. Well, actually, I
Yeah.
cooked a steak because I was really hungry, and then over wood, which is pretty much the best way to eat a steak, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But then it started pouring, and I was like, yeah, I'm not toughing it out anymore. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I've got the truck, I've got the technology, I'm gonna be protected. So yeah, I went in there, and then I saw you cruising over. It looked like Dennis Nedry's Jeep.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park people. This Jeep coming down like super fast.
Yeah, my little 4-cylinder fucking. But no, I mean, and then the stupid thing about that Jeep was the headlight like button knob deal was like right next to my knee, my left knee. So I was driving, we hit a bump, and I fucking turned my headlights off, and I was like, fuck, I don't know what's in front of me, like slamming on the brakes. We're getting
Wasn't
so
there like tons of deer and shit too, man? That was wild.
cows. There were cows in the road in the way back to the campsite, and I was like flying, and I almost hit 2 cows.
Yeah, because the cows are randomly just out there. You know, we've had problems with them countless times.
Yeah, those motherfuckers.
2 or 3, but still.
Well, and then I was all, well, I've got like Hilton points or whatever. Let's go get a hotel, and we fucking walk. It's like what, 10 or 11 at night or something, and we walk into this.
Covered in mud and smelling like fire and everything else.
Yeah, dude, and the guy's like at the front counter. Oh, what the fuck? And then we went to Applebee's.
Yeah, we talk about Applebee's a lot on this podcast, so that's always a good. We have to mention it at least one time.
Yeah, it's funny because like I was one of the other DJs that I'm friends with on Facebook. He was posting something. Oh, it was the goth chick in Applebee's. That's what it was. Yeah, so it's in everybody's lives nonstop. You can't get away from it. It doesn't matter.
Applebee's or goth chicks?
Applebee's.
Oh, it's true. Fucking.
Actually, I don't stay away from them goth chicks, but I don't know.
And they're really not everywhere. They're kind of, well, there's not many goth people here in Albuquerque, it seems.
Do you think there's more goth chicks than there are Applebee's?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think. In my honest opinion,
Stupid question.
Yeah, I love it actually. I didn't feel like it was loaded. That is not a loaded question.
I'm really wondering now.
There are no Applebee's in Europe.
Oh, there aren't?
I don't know. I just actually made that up.
Well, I'm gonna find out now. Well, okay. So any European listeners, I know you're out there. Comment on the video and let me know if there's Applebee's in Europe.
Yeah.
Show me a picture of the inside because I want to see what they look like compared to American Applebee's.
And you know what? Also, Canadians, I need to know if you go to Applebee's and get French fries and mayonnaise. If if Applebee's exists,
Oh,
I forget what it's called, but there's a
that's
name.
disgusting.
I don't want it, but
Where the hell does the name Applebee come from? It's like the weirdest name ever.
So Applebee's actually started in Columbus, Georgia, and I don't know why.
Fucking history.
No, when I worked at Applebee's, there was like this. I was I was an Apple expert or some shit like that, and
certified.
Yeah, certified Apple expert, and some dude was super pissed that I got it because I'd only been there for 6 months and he'd been there like 8 years and didn't get it. But anyway, but they had us come in for a class on like a Saturday morning or whatever, and I answered that because they were like, where in Georgia is Applebee's from? And everybody was like, Atlanta, Savannah, whatever. That's because, if you haven't lived in Georgia, those are the only cities that you know. So I fucking just guessed Columbus, and they gave me a chef jacket or chef coat or whatever. And it had
that jacket.
Oh, unfortunately, I don't. I don't know why I don't have it.
Well, you should have hung on to that fucker.
I know it's totally priceless.
There's New Mexico coming out of me. You should have hung on to it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
So, do you have Grubhub out there?
I'm not sure, honestly. Probably.
I would think so. It's just an app. Like if you have Uber and whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think Uber exists in the summer here, but I mean, I haven't really tried it because I don't do anything. So but
I've been having the worst Uber trips lately. I'm just over it now. Pretty sure the Uber guy that drove me home was drunk last night.
I heard that the quality is going down. Like their expectations of their representatives is not as like harsh as it used to be. I don't know.
Well, I think pay is a big factor in that. Like they have, they scrutinize people more, and they have the emergency button now or whatever, which is cool. But I think it's just because they don't really pay that well,
This isn't here. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
For the listeners, Lance is putting on his lipstick in front of the
Shiny
I don't know what you're saying. They're no, you can't tell they're not shiny.
Okay. Well, that's okay. I'm only have to impress you guys. That's it.
So you use Blistex now? I thought you'd be using Burt's Bees and shit.
I was in a pinch.
It's like Pall Malls, man.
I never used Burt's Bees. Actually, I did, but not in years. Nothing against them. Like just have other favorites.
Like you have the Burt's Bees and American Spirits, or you have Blistex and Pall Malls.
Yes.
That's how you know you either got paid good or you had to pay too many bills or whatever the fuck happened.
It's either these beer names here. It's either beep 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 or beep beep beep. I'm all edited, right? I have to edit myself. Gotta be careful.
What?
I have no fucking...
Keep it out.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know what's going on anymore.
That's okay. Neither do I.
Yeah. So long night last night. I probably went to bed at 5 a.m. So.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to go be a human for starting at 7 a.m.
Damn. So, are you working like normal old man hours, like 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. or what are you working?
Well, it's kind of weather permitting type of deal because it is like a super manly tough guy job, so it's outside. But
hear that, ladies? He's single too.
Yeah, just throw.
Elaborate on that. Elaborate on the super manly tough guy job.
Oh, I don't know. I have to do all this stuff. It's like heavy lifting and like toughing out the elements and things like that. So I guess that's super. I'm gonna get in trouble for saying manly, aren't I?
Why?
No, I think we've already like said inappropriate shit on this podcast.
Okay, cool.
Like,
all right, yeah, you just gotta be careful these days.
yeah, why can't you say manly? You really can't say manly anymore?
I don't know. If I say that, I might make someone feel like if they're not a man, that
Yeah.
tough.
Well, no, that's like, you know what? So I think that like, a woman could do that job. I don't think there's any problem with saying that. But I think it's like, who was it? Joe Rogan's stand up. He was like, some shit is just gay. Like musicals are gay, flashy fucking furry things. Like he was saying his cats, they're rag dolls and they're super fluffy and he loves them. And it's not a bad thing. And I think it's the same way. Like, you can say that about shit and it's not always a bad thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it makes me feel good. So why can't I say it? I feel like a real man sometimes. I'm like, I just fucking moved all this shit and I feel all pumped and I feel like as tough as I can be. And to me, that makes me feel good. So if that makes me feel manly, because that's what I identify as, I feel like that should be okay.
Yeah, and I think it goes the same way too. If a woman were doing that job and she got a big pump going from lifting shit, she could be like, yeah, I feel like a woman. That was womanly. And
yeah, I took like exactly, there's things that make you feel like a human, but then there's things you do, and if I'm a guy and I'm doing something and I'm like, yeah, that was awesome. And if a girl does it, and she's like, I could do this on my own, I don't need no man, or whatever, like whatever. Or actually, you know what? I know how to do my own laundry, which is like, yeah. So sometimes like
I think that is more likely to offend someone.
no, I know that's where I'm going with it. I'm gonna bring this back because that's like a joke or whatever. Oh, I'll do this and you do the laundry. But it's cool because there are actually some dudes who exist who can't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at least
Well, and yeah, there's a lot of manly motherfuckers out there, big burly motherfuckers that can't like cook or do laundry or whatever it is that is traditionally seen as woman tasks, right? And I think fuck them, dude. I mean, to me,
if a dude were to do that and be like, hell yeah, I just even if they're like I just cooked for myself. You know, some people really genuinely do not know how to do that, and it's kind of creepy. Like, what if you grew up being like, oh, I have to be manly all the time, and you're just worrying about that. You're just like, oh, I have to be like super tough all the time, and but
which
then
is funny. It's funny because there are like there's you know, it's not you know, there's that stigma or whatever. It's not manly to cook or whatever, you know, that sort of vein of thought from some
that's
people.
what I'm kind of getting at.
But yeah, but what I'm saying is like, but there's also, it's funny because there's like manly shit to cook, like fucking steak and burgers and hot dogs. It's like, well, man should grill, you know, and it's just kind of weird.
Yeah, but where I was going with it is that if someone is like, say it's a dude who only does dude things. I think I started this in the wrong way. Say it's a dude who's like, oh, I only do the quote unquote stereotype guy things. Like I lift things, I work hard, and then I go home and I eat fucking Burger King, or I stop by fucking wherever and just eat food that you shouldn't eat every day. You know, nothing against Burger King. I mean, you can eat as much as you want, but it's not necessarily like the best thing to do for your body. But if you were to go home and you accomplish cooking something for yourself, something that only, you know, your mom or your lady had done for you, if you were to do that, you would be like, yes, I did it, you know? And that's what I was going with the lady. If they're working on a farm doing this hard work and they accomplish something, they're like, fuck yeah, I'm a woman. Like I did what a dude could do for me, but I'm a fucking woman. That is awesome. That's where I was going with it. So,
you know what? I literally, I think that's fine. And I think with our podcast, we're not trying to be, I guess, politically correct with it, you know, but we're not trying to offend people. But I think that's totally fine. I think I already got people pissed off because I said I was against health at any size or whatever, or every size. But
it's what?
There's this movement. It's called HAES. It's health at every size. So they're basically saying you could be like 600 pounds and you can be healthy. It's really weird.
I could get offensive on that subject as well.
Yeah. We could get.
Yeah, I have no problem getting offensive, honestly. But I feel that way. When I said it, I'm totally like, man. Chicks are awesome, but everybody can be a fucking dumbass. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter who you are. You shouldn't be 600 pounds if you're a human being under 10 feet tall. Sorry.
If you're not Andre the Giant, I mean.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's not fair. That's fair, right? 10 feet. Yeah, 5 feet tall should weigh between 130 to whatever.
Well, that's interesting, yeah, because I'm 6'1" and I'm like 220 kind of right now. So I mean, but I should be like 180 or something like that. So, but if I were 7 feet, I wonder. I'm gonna have to think about that ratio of what is a healthy weight for a 10-foot tall.
That's
person.
Honestly an awesome idea. Like, yeah, how tall would you? Like, according to like their measurements, because I'm not that tall of a dude. I'm like 5'6", 7. I'm supposed to weigh 155, but I consistently weigh like 160. You know what I mean? I don't feel like fat at all. I mean, I've gotten fat before, but I mean, when I'm hovering around that, I feel like that's okay. But and then the ratio goes up. Like Alex is a little bit taller than me. So how tall are you? How tall did you say you were?
I'm 6'1".
So you're 6'1". So yeah, you definitely, if you weighed 150, you would not look like you were eating enough.
Yeah, I was told I should be about 170, 180.
I mean, I guess that sounds fair, but that's like in ripped condition. You know, you're like, yeah.
Right. Right,
Feels
that's
like
like-
man when it's that way.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I mean. Like, if you fluctuate, I don't think you should feel bad about yourself. Some people have a hard time gaining weight. They're just thinner, like they're thinner people, and some people are a little bit over what they say it should be. But by their math, quote unquote, that would be cool to come up with how much you should weigh. Height of well, I'm 10'5". What should I weigh, motherfucker?
I'm pretty sure if you go to like a BMI calculator, you can like do, you know, that you're 10 feet and then you can put like whatever that weight is and see if it's a healthy BMI. I'm going to try that after.
Someone should do that test. Seriously, that's a great idea.
We'll post it in the description or talk about it in the after notes or whatever of the episode.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm probably barking up. I'm probably fucking, rambling about something stupid. I don't need to be.
It got quiet.
Podcast fail.
Yeah, that was, and welcome to the weekly segment, How to Fuck Up Your Podcast. There it was. We all participated
Yeah.
professionally.
We just all stared at each other blankly.
Yeah.
Do you miss the sunshine? Is it totally different up there? Like, does that have an impact on you at all?
Yeah. I never really thought that it would. Probably a few months into being here, it started raining a lot, and it was flooding and stuff. Like, it was fucking crazy. I realized one day, I was like, you know what? I haven't seen the sun in like 5 days. If you think about it, that's actually like a pretty long time to go. After being used to seeing it all the time, that's like a pretty long time to go without seeing it.
Right. It's like the dead of winter here where we don't get the sun like that.
Yeah. And so that happened like July, maybe. Yeah, I mean, so that happened, and then like we had a bit of calm, and then it just turned into winter. It seems like it's been winter for as long as I can remember. That's how it goes here. I forgot about that. It's just like I went and did that Toledo show on the way to where we were staying from Toledo, which was halfway to Cleveland. We were stuck on the freeway, stopped for 2 hours, and all these semis had flown off the road because it was winter, and that seems like ages ago, doesn't it? I mean, like,
Yeah.
Can we talk about Believe, the song Believe?
Yeah, let's talk about Believe. Yeah, so me and Lance, well, one day I was just like randomly singing in my car, and I was singing Believe by Cher, and I started singing it like super depressed and, slow, and I sent it to him, just like a Snapchat video of me singing it. I was like, I want to cover this. So, of course, Lance is the kind of person, he'll do whatever. That's why, he did our theme song. He's down for whatever. So we made a fucking crazy remix to it. We should probably link that too. That'd be cool.
It's on your YouTube, but it's on my SoundCloud. You could put both out if you wanted to, so people can check it out. I think it came out pretty good. It's actually, what I've noticed, it's my number one or number two listened to song. They kind of fight back and forth. Like, sometimes that song will be the number one listened to, and then other times one of my other songs is the other number one listened to.
That's awesome. Hey, but yeah, listeners, if you get Believe to number one, yo.
Yeah, keep it up there, because people have been listening to it. It seems like, I don't have a ton of listens. I'm not super well known or whatever, but as far as what people are, they listen to that, and it's definitely like pretty emotional and cool.
Yeah, and I think like with that song, I was like listening to the lyrics, it's just crazy because they're really simple, and I guess they're not like that intellectual, but it's a sad song, and then she fucking made that weirdo disco music to it, and it's
the original song, and I remember listening to it when I was younger, and honestly, I've always loved pop. I'm like a metal dude at the core, but I've always loved pop since I was young. But so it's at a BPM of 130. So it was dropped down to 88 BPM because I tried 90. And Katie, you were like, can you slow down even more? And I was like, maybe just a little. So yeah, it goes down to 88. And I was like, that's as low and slow as it can go. And but it came out super cool, and it's like 6 minutes long. It turned a 3.5 minute pop dance song into a 6 minute kind of drony dark song, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it's almost more like a ballad now, kind of.
Yeah, it's totally balladish, and just the way it's just so slow and awesome, and I love that. Like, it's kind of gangster, at times, but
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a good representation of Witch House, in my opinion. Actually, going back to what we were talking about, however long ago, you can find it. It's out there.
I can't wait for our next collab on, some pop song. What do you think we should do next? Sheryl Crow or what?
Every day is a winding road. You could look closer. You could do like the new metal distorted vocal. Get a little bit closer.
I haven't heard that song in forever. Yeah. Every day is. But how would we do it? Be like, every day is a winding road. Something like that. Do you remember that other song by Sheryl Crow? It goes, I think a change that changed do you good. Do you remember that song?
Oh shit, no.
No?
No, I'll have to look it up though. Are you still there, Alex? That's a cool headrest you have, dude. Just so everybody knows. It has all these little zeros all over it. It's cool.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, if I had a headrest in proper Witch House imagery, I should have one with Unicode all over it. Yeah.
You can do those DNA tests now and have your DNA on a pillow, which I think is kind of interesting.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's like your genome or whatever. I don't know what the fuck it's called.
Dude,
But your DNA decoded or whatever.
If there were pictures of my DNA on a pillow and then actually put my DNA on the pillow, that would be pretty awesome.
I thought you were gonna say I would like to get my DNA printed on a condom.
Oh, well, that'll also be neat too. Because
then you'd be.
Yeah, that would probably create some fucking like super villain. I don't know. That sounds bad. Bad idea.
Having your DNA printed on a condom?
Yeah, or coming on or ejaculating on your own DNA.
like a super slow villain.
Can you imagine having a pillow and somebody's like wanting to come over and use their pillow and they're like, nope, you can't do that. It's my DNA cum pillow.
My DNA, yeah. Okay, well, that's what I was trying to say. DNA, that's what I meant.
Well, that's why, I'm thinking, like, if you get DNA printed on condoms, like, you put the condom on, then the chick can be all, nope, you got shitty DNA. Like, it's just another, or the dude like or whoever it is that's taking the dick.
Like a detector? Like when you scan your groceries, like if you go in, you're going in,
barcode,
and it scans, and it's like, no, bad DNA, and then it's just rejected.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. You'd have to, at some point in the future, if what they did was like wristbands or whatever with your DNA on it, and you scan it with the barcode, and then somebody would be like, oh, no, you have predisposition to fucking toe cancer or whatever. I don't want to have.
Or like danger cousin.
Yeah.
Danger. you get aroused and then it starts going off really fast.
Something would pop up in your eye and you're like, oh, that's family, you sicko.
Yeah.
And then it starts like okay, never mind, this is getting stupid. I was gonna say if you were attracted to somebody, it could actually start building pheromones that are coming out. Do you know what I'm saying? Does this make sense?
Like to help you. Like you're saying you. Oh man.
Yeah, to help you.
That's a techno witch right there. That is that's technological witchery.
Seriously. Yeah, it is. That's actually like a love potion.
Shit right there. That's
a really good name, technological witchery. That'll be a good cookbook.
Yeah. Anyway, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's totally unethical, but it is pretty interesting.
It is unethical, but you know what? There's no laws against pheromones, dude.
Do they actually work though?
I think so. I witnessed it in chickens at work.
What happens is their little cooters get all juiced up.
I don't know, like the main roosters just start crowing as hard as they can, and then they attract all the other chickens, and they start, like, the chickens will make the rooster warm. Like, it's been really cold around here, so, like, the rooster will be all, Rah! And they make himself as big and tough as possible. The other chickens come around and warm up that rooster, that cock.
Right.
Warm up that cock.
They warm up the cock. Yeah.
But they're evil animals. I'm serious. Chickens, I'm sorry. Honestly, they're really fucking weird.
You're going to upset our fellow vegan listeners. Come on.
Cruelty free.
So it's cool. If you want them to live, then chickens rule their own universe.
Well, they gotta fuck, right? I mean, even if you're not gonna eat them, or you're not gonna eat their eggs, but you want chickens as pets or whatever, or like show animals or whatever the fuck you want a chicken for.
They eat their own eggs. It's crazy. If you throw an egg, they know the sound, and if an egg drops and cracks, chickens know that sound, and they will run and eat that egg. It's really disturbing to watch.
Well, do you think that they do that to like just prevent predators from possibly like getting the scent of rotten egg or whatever if it cracks or some shit, you know?
Maybe I think that now. That's a good question.
You know what? I never thought about.
Or
I never thought about that. That's pretty cool.
I never thought about how disgusting eggs are, though. Like, think about it. I don't think I want to eat them anymore.
You should still. I mean, they're really good.
yeah, I like it. Eggs are one of my favorite foods.
I went through this thing when I was younger where I was like, I'm not gonna eat fucking eggs anymore because it's gross. It's chicken, chicken periods pretty much. That is what it is. I mean,
They're actually the technical scientific name for an egg is a rooster bullet.
Oh, sweet.
They're dang old rooster bullets, man.
Dude, oh man, I seriously feel like I should write that down, like right now. I'm going to.
I didn't come up with that. That was Cowboy Kent Rollins on YouTube. If an egg is a chicken period, and it's called a rooster bullet, then a human period. What do you call that? A cock bullet? You know what I mean? This is to this as a egg is to a rooster bullet.
Yeah. Okay. So rooster bullet. So
if an egg is a chicken period, like you said, which I don't think that's true, but it might be. I'm not sure. But
yeah, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a chicken scientist.
But what would you call it? So an egg is a rooster bullet, but it's also a chicken period. A human period would be called what? Pussy bullet?
It doesn't sound good.
Pussy bullet.
A pussy bullet? That's pretty cool. I like that. Well, our part of our body's named after the chicken too, so that makes it kind of hard.
Well, that's what I was saying is like if it's a rooster bullet, that's the male of the species. So would you call it like a dick bullet or a? I think pussy bullet's the way to do it.
Shit. I like all of those actually. A dick bullet is good, or a knuckle bullet sounds awesome. That has like.
Why would it be a knuckle bullet?
Sometimes might get on your knuckles a little bit.
There we are talking about our DNA again. Damn.
Yep. Perfect.
Yeah.
All
right. Well, so I guess that's the end of the interview or the guest hosting because I think we did a good job with that. That was a really good guest hosting.
I would love to do this again. This was cool.
Yeah.
We did it. Our first interview. Welcome back to reality, everybody. That was Lance Stephenson, Wraith Haven Music on Instagram. And again, I am Langston Books on Instagram.
And what do we say when we tell our listeners that if you've stuck it out this far along, what do we usually say?
Eat shit, fuck goats.
Yes, exactly. So thank you. Thank you for listening. If you want us to do more of these types of interviews, or you enjoy having a third person, a threesome, if you will, to our podcast, then let us know.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of people coming up in the future. One of them is Miles Lacayo of Rap Roll Call, the YouTube channel. And another is... I would call him a marijuana or cannabis entrepreneur. Our friend Lamar Butcher, who owns a medical marijuana manufacturing facility or something like that. So we've got some really exciting stuff coming up in the future. So stay tuned and keep an eye out for eating shit and fucking goats.
Hell yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Still selling, fasting, and dying.